Hello everybody, it's Sunday and it's a beautiful day in the kingdom and it's lovely to have Vish on the pod.
Vish
Cheers.
is back on the pod.
Yeah.
Vish is back on the pod.
What have you learned from the other parts of the UK that isn't London?
I've learned that cricket, with the retirement of Ben Stokes, is now
Stokesless.
dead.
Obsolete.
Basically,
Vish.
as an interesting concept, as a thing that
Yeah.
people should enjoy.
Concept.
And so I'm back on the bandwagon.
Yes. Well, we've got an Esri concept for you later.
I'm getting off the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Well, England will be playing Mexico tonight / very early tomorrow morning. And we'll be here on the mics tomorrow morning for a live ramble.
Whoa.
Whose idea was that? It was mine, Peter.
It was yours.
That's whose.
It was yours. They kept moving. They tried to sort of see you off by moving the start time of the match, but no.
No FIFA.
Yeah. It's going to be loosey-goosey.
We're going
Love
live. We're going live,
Yeah.
baby. Myself, Luke, and that guy Vish will be live at 10:30 British summertime on the Football Ramble YouTube channel. So set your alarms to make sure you don't miss it. You can find the link to that channel in the show notes. It's pretty easy to find. You should know that by now. We will also be previewing the match later on today, so keep your eye out for that episode wherever you get your pods. So the preview later today, the review tomorrow, live at 10:30. Now then, Paraguay 0, France 1. No yellow cards for Paraguay, despite how much they tried to get one.
Everybody talks about how much they love shithousery until someone shits in your house.
Yes, indeed.
And you're
That
like,
is
"Oh, no,
absolutely true.
Yes.
There's shit in my carpet.
Yeah.
How do I get this out? This
Yeah.
is a nightmare.
Yeah,
This is a nightmare. But I enjoyed every last minute of this.
Oh, did you?
I did. I turned into full David Cartledge mode. Where is he this morning? He'd be
he's-
absolutely licking his lips.
He's in
But
Asuncion.
he touched some cartilage last night. That kind of performance.
I think he's flown to Asuncion to clap them home
Yeah.
when they arrive
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
That's where he is. I mean, I would actually, I wonder if David thought even that for him was a bit too far. Perhaps not, but yeah, I mean, the that was really the story of this game, wasn't it? The Paraguayan antics, shall we say, and how none of them got even a yellow card. I mean, I'm sorry, everybody, but the refereeing at this tournament. It's absurd.
But this was the worst of it.
It's utterly absurd.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
If there is an agreement at the start, it's not even that. I don't mind if it's really to the letter or it's like it was tonight, which was like the Hunger Games. I just think that there needs to be some sort of like, right, this is going to be one of those matches. Yeah. Just let the people know beforehand, because the French soon realised that they were not going to get much out of this referee at all. Really.
Oh, yeah. The other side.
France got 3 bookings. Ludicrous.
The other side to it was I don't mind some of the laissez-faire refereeing, because it has been consistent for both teams, but it felt like this referee.
He was comme ci, comme ça, wasn't he?
It was a bit comme ci, comme ça. But there was an element of like, you're better than them. They're only trying.
They
leave them
call
alone.
it your will out in the end. Yeah.
And the other thing about
I don't mind that in the FA Cup third round. Where it's a
Hednesford Brighton.
Exactly, something like
or
that.
a Grimsby Town Manchester United situation.
Ah,
Well, actually, in
now
that
you're talking.
situation, Grimsby Town played the better football, full stop.
True. Referee got confused.
So one of the things that referees were told coming into this World Cup was basically to not fall for the play acting.
Yes.
Your man last night was picking players up.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
No, that is quite unbelievable, really.
Let me have a look at it. No, that's fine.
Yeah, we
blood.
know sometimes you can tell what the brief is for referees. I mean, often we're told, but you can see it on the pitch with the way the games are officiated. I go back all the way to, I remember the 1998 World Cup, where in the first round of games, everyone commended the referees and said they were doing a really good job because they were letting the game flow, obviously not to the proportions that we're seeing this time around. Because they're letting the game fight. But they were letting the game fight. It was really, really good. And when we got into the knockouts, I think it was Sepp Blatter who was in charge at the time, said, no, you need to be a bit hard. You're letting too much go. And then suddenly the yellow cards were coming out and things. And everyone went, hang on, what's happened? And it did transpire that Blatter said, no, I wasn't actually happy with that. And everyone was a bit pissed off. Certainly in this country, and I don't know what it was like around the world. And people were a bit annoyed. So obviously there are instructions. As we've said before, the great Pierluigi Collina, who was the gold standard of refereeing, and we hold him in very high regard, he said, let the game flow and so on and so forth.
He was doing this when he did it as well, like that guy who remember that guy who's on pills and he's gone
salad fingers.
No, not salad fingers.
I don't remember that.
He's a very famous caner. He's a man who goes to like sort of happy hardcore nights, and he looks like Kalina, and he goes like that because he's having such a good time.
And like one of those inflatable men in forecourt.
And you expect us to know who this guy is?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
If you've been on the internet in the last 10 years, he's very, very visible.
Beefy.
I've been quite prevalent. Don't say beefy. Don't say internet and beefy.
It's that kind of music, beefy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not that beefy.
Yeah.
No, I know who you mean. Is it Sean Jackson?
Who's Sean Jackson?
Yeah. No, I think it's Sean Jackson.
Is that Barry from EastEnders?
The producer Rory just put a note in.
It's Sean Jackson. Not helpful. Not helpful. We don't even know his name.
I do know him.
There's a picture. The Gurning Rave guy.
Oh, I thought that was Pierluigi
Galina. Exactly. He's having a good time.
I think he might have been refereeing yesterday.
I think that fella, yes, exactly. He got hold of the referees and was like, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a rave. And Kalina turned up. They'd all gone. He was like, oh, no, it's happened again.
But how would you prefer this match to have been refereed? Because the Canada-Morocco one had Michael Oliver, and he was being a little bit bitty and a little bit Premier League-y and a little bit rubbish, in my opinion. I didn't mind this match as something to watch, as a spectacle.
I do know what you mean, because I found it really funny for the first half. No word of a lie. I was like, fine, Paraguay know they can't go toe-to-toe with France. They could only stifle them.
Remove their toes.
And and Ciso and Amaron were like, at times, running away from, Saliba and whoever else, like they were being chased through a forest by ghouls.
The shift they put in.
Yeah.
Well, the actual penalty, obviously, it gets given in the end, but Almiron nearly has the beating of Saliba. I was like, go on, lads.
Oh, do you know, he must have been gutted about that, because that was a waste of a sprint. And it was an almighty sprint.
He's only got 3 a match as well.
I'll tell you what, though, impressive. What
he's
got on him.
Yeah, absolute engine.
And Ciso as well. I didn't quite realize he was so fast, like in terms of like top end acceleration fast.
Yeah.
But they did stifle them, and I thought Galaza had a decent first half, like in a way that you'd commend him for, keeping Dembele quiet, and then the fact that they decided to essentially mob Elise to keep him quiet. It's probably his quietest game of the World Cup so far. And then they came out in the second half, perhaps actually governed by how much rope they were getting from the referee in the first half. But they completely abandoned any principle of like winning the ball back and moving it forward as quickly as possible. They were just hoofing the ball out. They were literally slapping the French players.
Yeah. When it was about 38 degrees, apparently that one was a particularly hot.
Yeah. My in-laws are from Philadelphia, and they mentioned in the morning that it was 44 degrees centigrade real feel in the shade.
Yeah.
Oh, real feel trademark.
Yeah.
Oh, love that.
But the thing we have to give France credit for, particularly Mbappe actually, is they realised very early they're not getting anything from the referee. Paraguay are taking the piss here. We just have to keep it calm.
Yep.
And there were moments, obviously, it tipped over, but by and large, I thought they did as good a job as they could possibly do, and they're through because of it.
I thought it was a great shame for Paraguay, though, if I can say that, the fact, Peter, that it was a penalty. And it was it was great.
It was a hell of a run.
Oh, it
deserved a pen at least.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, when he's jinking away like that, Desiree Doué.
Is there something quite unusual about getting a penalty running the other way?
I know what you mean. Yeah, but and that's my other point.
That's what people complain about, and you're like, come on.
It was a penalty all day long.
To have a box.
The fact is that the referee didn't give something so bleeding obvious. Yeah. As one of the commentators, I'd like to see ref cam on that. They're like, people like, I better not show that. That sort of level of mistake.
It was actually obscured by the referee giving Doué the middle finger when it was on the floor.
In the city of brotherly love as well.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Indeed. But There are too
many.
Do you
think the Paraguayans cracked the Liberty Bell?
Yeah, maybe.
Two-footed it, yeah.
There's too many decisions at this World Cup where you go, that was outrageous. I still think the Harry Kane one against DR Congo was a penalty all day long. But this is the problem with what this style of refereeing does. people, even some of the BBC pundits, like Rooney, for example, saying, "Yeah, but he's looking for it. He's going down. He's," and you start to kind of you start to kind of try and get on board with this refereeing. Yes, he was, because he knew he was going to get clattered by the goalkeeper. So anyway, without going over that,
it's not Munchausen syndrome, was it? When you Stockholm syndrome?
Stockholm syndrome.
We've been Stockholm syndrome.
That would be my argument. But this one, how the referee hasn't seen that. Thank goodness it was given, because if it wasn't given, you think, well, VR, just stop it now, because it's ludicrous. But
do you not think that, like, I think you spoke about Mbappe being a really good kind of lightning rod for a lot of this stuff, and you're right, and he gave a bit back as well. But he made a beeline for one of the Paraguayan players in the hydration break and give him a little something. He was swearing in Spanish left, right, and centre. It was good stuff. They knew the focus. He knew the focus was on him, and I think it was But
Mbappe's temperament, though, he knows what he is.
He knows where the line is,
which is probably the best player in the world, or certainly one of them.
He's grown up being targeted like that, hasn't he?
Yeah, totally. And he has the broad enough shoulders to do it. I don't think he's thin-skinned, because it doesn't affect his game. I think he goes, oh, is it like that, is it?
Yeah.
You really want to... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You really want to wind me up? Absolutely fine. And, of course, when he scored the penalty, which he was going to score all day long...
especially when the keeper just dived about 2 seconds too early.
Yeah, well,
He'd had a good game, Old Gil, until that until that penalty.
Yeah, indeed. But, I mean, the chat now is with penalties, they say, what's the pressure penalty? Because there's so much... As I say, almost we're getting to the point of over-analysing penalties. And actually, if you looked at where they showed Mbappe had put some of his penalties, it was to the keeper's left. Whereas, if you remember, certainly in the World Cup final, when he took 3 penalties last time round, he put them all in the same place. And I think maybe he'll thought, that's his safety penalty, if you like. But I remember thinking, I don't know, in this type of game, I would have fancied him to Panenka it. Do you know what I mean? It was that sort of, in Mo Salah sort of fashion. But
really take the air out of the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but the fact is, he scores, and when they scored, that was the game over, because you knew Paraguay were not going to score. Yeah.
Can we dwell a bit more on? You mentioned pressure penalty there. Can we dwell a bit more on the events leading up to the taking of the penalty?
Oh my goodness, yeah. That has become a standard thing in this World Cup now. You saw Senegal do it to Belgium, and the referees, which they won't, the referees should put that to bed and go, right, you back off now, right, yellow card.
Right.
Anyone else? No, yellow card.
Put a little serving dish over the top of the penalty spot.
Yeah,
there was a penalty.
And then reveal it.
Reveal it.
The penalty scuff.
Like the money on Come Dine With Me.
Now you're talking. The penalty spot scuff. That should be a yellow card, I believe.
Yeah, right. Ungentlemanly conduct.
Yeah, I think in the Prem and even probably Champions League. Yeah,
the worms.
Pretty good for the worms. Brings them to the surface.
That's a good point. Actually.
Yeah, right. That's us. Yeah, let the worms do the job.
Just the Dembele when he was standing there holding the ball, and obviously it's a decoy so that they don't.
We all know you're not taking it, mate.
But they don't rattle the actual penalty taker. And it was stupid because I thought, like, Mbappe's always taking this. Don't fuck him up.
Yeah.
But when he's holding it and he's got his back to the goal, and I think, was it the keeper scrapes the...
no, it was a defender.
The defender scrapes the penalty spot through Dembele's legs, and he turns around and he almost like, fair play.
Yeah, he got
yeah.
Cheeky.
He's still going to score.
Yeah. Cheeky. I very much enjoy. I know he's part of a lot of the shithousing, but Matthias Galaz's kind of general demeanour, I very much enjoy, and I want to see. I know he plays in MLS, but I want to see more of him. Because he looks a little bit handsome like Stallone was in his early years. He looks a little bit iconic, and I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
But I won't, because he plays in MLS.
Apple TV.
Is that where you get the MLS
believe
from?
so.
Right.
You just got to stay up.
It's the Fizzer network.
You've got to...
Fizzer network.
You're used to staying up late to watch football matches.
I know, yeah. I've completely changed my time. I've turned at me dad. 1 a.m. starts.
Yeah, it was always going to happen, though.
Yeah. Damn right.
I did like the Kylian Mbappe quote. They thought that we'd show up in tuxedos to play, but we know how to play dirty football too.
There's a lot to be said for that. If you look at how a lot of these players learned football, it was, on
the mean
concrete streets, that kind of thing. And you do lose it. Obviously, you lose it. A lot of those players play for luxury teams, I think we can describe them as. Like, they don't really have to think about doing anything for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think moments like that, they probably relish, because it's a little bit like you turn to, the people around you and you're like, right, we're going to have to scrap here. And you kind of enjoy it because it adds a little bit on whatever legacy they're going to create. Yeah, this is the kind of game that they can point to in the way that Mbappe already has and be like, the tuxedo quote. I mean, that's perfect. That'll live forever.
Yeah.
This is our Le Hen.
Are we? Yeah. I mean, I sort of. Yeah. Are we being a touch generous to France here in that? when England struggled to break down a side who Paraguay had all 11 men really behind the ball, didn't they? And France didn't create anything of note. And then obviously
it's a bit of a lesson for anyone who meets them in the next rounds. Like they were expected, like they've hammered teams they were expected to defeat in this tournament. I think it's fair to say. And this wasn't obviously a test in football; it was a test of how efficient their cut men were and how big their shin pads are, really. Yes. But I think I didn't think they came through this test with flying colours because, like you said, they didn't manage to break them down in open play, did they?
Well, and it was. I mean,
they were running away from the goal.
They were, and like I say, the penalty was very much won. It wasn't a lucky one or anything. It was, and look, they're through, and that's all that matters, really. But I just think if that was England, people might say, "Oh well, we didn't create anything. Oh, we got it was a penalty." Blah 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 blah. Whereas it's France, and I ultimately
it's always going to be the violence, isn't it? I suppose.
I agree that you're through. Bloody penalty or what? Did it go across the line? So I just want it was.
I think you're right to bring that up. I think those conversations are being had though, just not. Like in France.
Yes.
Because they were already talking about some of the discussions I saw about what happens when teams double, treble up on Elise. What do we do then? The fact that after Mbappe, I think Rabiot took the most shots.
Yeah, he was having a go, wasn't he?
Yeah, and just like pinging them over the bar.
Yeah.
I wonder also if some of the French players were like, "You think this is bad? You should see what his mum says about us." But I think you're right to bring that up, and I think also I was so glad. I'm not just saying it because you're here and we're doing this show, but generally yesterday I was so glad I'm not watching England play this team. Because I think there's a few players who lose their head there. Like, imagine the handprint on Anthony Gordon's chest when they're properly chopping him. I think they have the wares to do it, probably not in the way that you'd think where it's like jinking through and hoping to get a clip here and there rather than a pass. But as you said, and as you explained, with that many people behind the ball, you're not going to find those like really intricate passes. You're going to have to create something out of nothing.
Well, I think for Paraguay, realistically, it was the only way they could approach the game because they've seen Elise threading the balls through better defences, and also as well with Paraguay, the way they beat Germany. It was a proper sort of smash and grab, but. With this, I don't. This is not a template for Morocco. Absolutely not. And
they were smashing and grabbing in this game.
Yeah, well, they were, but not goals. Just French players.
Well, it's not a template for Morocco to play France.
The way Paraguay did, because Paraguay was 11 men behind the ball, and there was very little attacking intent.
Can you just do that, and then you've got some better players up top?
Well, no, because I think
Morocco also don't do, stylistically. They just
it would be off. I mean, under the previous coach, they were much more steely and not steely. That's the wrong word. So they were a bit more conservative, and they've still got that there. But I think that they would express themselves a lot more. And I think what we're going to see is France have a genuine test. And it's the old sort of, have they been tested, all this sort of stuff. France are going to be favourites for that game, but it's a mouth-watering match because we know how good Morocco are, and we're going to talk about them in the next part. But I think, with Paraguay, I totally understand why they set up like that. As Tuchel suggested against DR Congo, and we'll find out later today. Certainly with France, though, that is the last time. In fact, you could argue that's the only time, really, but certainly the last time France will have a game like that at this tournament. And so, therefore, it will be fascinating to see how they get on against Morocco. I do want to mention old Orlando Gil, because he won the Man of the Match award. So even in defeat, he got something. Made a great double save against Kylian Mbappe towards the end of the game.
He's really good.
I was really disappointed, though. They had a chance for, I think it was a long throw-in or a cool... They had a chance, it might have been a long throw-in, put the ball in the box or something like that. And it was on 97, 98 minutes. He didn't come up for it.
Yeah. I know.
It's like, get him in the box. What, you wait for the next one?
6'6",
I couldn't believe he never came up for it. We've still got 3 minutes. We'll be all right. Come on. Get him up there. What I did rate about Paraguay, though, is that when you play a game like that and you're getting absolutely nothing, if you get within 30. I might even extend that to 35 yards from the goal. You have to shoot.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And there was a couple of efforts they had. Now I remember thinking, like, the commentators were a bit harsh on one of the guys who hit it, and I think Mike Mannion dived fairly comfortably, but he worked the goalkeeper. Oh yeah, not the best decision. I was like, what was his other decision? Like, you have to play, because you'll say that's a low percentage play. Well, I would flip that and say, no. The low percentage of scoring is how you've set up.
Yeah.
Therefore, taking a pot shot in a weird warped way is actually a high percentage play, because you're not going to score with 11 men sitting on the edge of your box. You're not going to score playing it back. You're not going. This is the only way you are going to score. So I that side of things, I quite enjoyed Paraguay. You know, any chance of having a shot there, they took it.
They also made, they didn't have players that were good enough to play that way, and also, I suppose, make an impact on France with their own attacking wares. What they were able to do is create such a frenzy within the game that they could just lump the ball up to Upamecano and Saliba and know that 1 in 3 times they'll fuck up.
Yeah, and again, you are totally playing the percentages. It's almost like you're playing Sunday league football, because you just let's just stick it up in that area. Yeah, chances are he's not going to mess that up. But if he does, that's what we're going to go for.
Because I actually felt a bit of empathy maybe for Saliba and Upamecano, because the game was so wild. They were like, God, I cannot fuck up now.
Yes.
Even something as simple as like a ball in the air, and they're challenging with like Enciso or Almiron. They've got a foot on them, and they're like, we've got to keep the ball. We can't put it out of the play. And you see them cycling through all these different things. And
Their
they're
levels
playing
are different, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're playing like stupid back passes to Magnon, and they're not quite getting it right. And those were the moments you talked about where the ball falls to a Paraguayan player and he has a pot shot. There was one actually in the second half on about 78 minutes, maybe 80 odd actually, where the ball drops to someone on the edge of the box. And if they have a bit more wares and take it down, they would have seen 2 players running through.
Yeah, I remember the moment.
And it's like you could just hold on to the ball, and he drags like half volley with his left foot wide.
Yeah. Oh dear, but France, they are through to the next round, and they will be playing Morocco. And coming up after this, we have our first host nation scalp.
There's I talk about managers' success rate. I've got a 0% sex rate. Sex rate? It's that as well.
Well, about the Football Ramble, everybody. Jonathan Pearce there, being very candid.
Yeah.
Right then.
Saw the way he was looking at Matilda during Robot Wars. Absolute
Which one was
pervert.
Matilda? Was she the one who was a
She had a saw for a
rhino?
tail. I thought she was like a... Yeah, maybe.
Was
but
she a rhino with a hammery knife thing? I don't know.
No, I thought Matilda had a saw for a tail.
Can't remember. I
Yeah.
cannot remember, sadly. Canada 0, Morocco 3. Pete Donaldson, Morocco march on.
Yeah.
Jesse Marsch and his Canadian cavalry have gone back to Canada.
Cavalry.
Send the Mounties home.
Yeah, you get the sense of this match. The result was correct, but the manner in which it was dispatched with 3 goals, like Morocco didn't play well, but they scored a lot of goals, and they're going to have to step it up against France.
Yeah, that is one of those games where
It's a shame, really.
Canada, it's like, how long can you keep them going? And they had a couple of chances, and you just simply have to put them away.
Yeah,
because you knew in that second half Morocco would turn the screw.
I know it's kind of very easy to sort of choose their star player and go, he was a big miss, but Alphonso Davies was a big miss, and it seemed like
the whole tournament.
But like I think there were signs that he was going to sort of do something in this match, and he just obviously Marsch didn't have access to him, which is a real disappointing situation, really.
Yeah, I'm glad that Davies played some football in the previous game where he got 10, 15 minutes or something like that, because it would have been look, it's a sickener. The fact is that injuries kept him out of the home tournament. I know he played in the previous World Cup and scored and so on, but for him to be like such an obvious star for them, one of the best players, if not the best player in their history, you might argue, to not be able to play really in the tournament, it is sad. But like I say, I'm glad he got some playing time, even though very restricted.
And
just a handful. He got on the pitch.
And you'd probably say it was probably too early for Canada to be a host nation, because it's their first win. They had their first win at the finals. They qualified from the groups the first time. They
first knockout win.
First knockout win as well. I mean, it's not bad, is it?
I think it's been a success. Playing a very good side who, that first goal when Unai scores, lovely free kick routine. It's that type of thing where you go, yeah, that to me just really showed the difference between, you know, an experienced side who know their way around a tournament. And you could see, I forget which Canada player it was, he just sees the danger too late and goes and it misses it. And as soon as that ball comes in, you're thinking, this is, you know,
that's coaching. That's bad coaching.
You've just got to hope he spoons it, you know, and into the corner it goes, and you think, yeah, exactly. And then, but look, I admire the way Canada went about it, because they didn't think, right, okay, they had to go for it and left the back door wide open, and that's how it goes. Yeah. But they've won a lot of hearts and minds in this tournament. They're Canadian heroes, Peter, according to Jesse Marsch.
Yeah, Marsch said a lot of stuff after this match. And
what was your favourite stuff he said after this match? That was after the previous match, of course. But
I think I said that I always dislike when managers specifically use the name of the journalist as a bit of a power move or a bit of a I'm a good guy, really, kind of move. It annoyed me when I interviewed the Australian fella who plays Wolverine. It annoys me.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. It annoys me.
So Hugh Jackman went, well, Peter.
Power
and
move.
That annoyed you?
Yeah, it annoyed me, that. Power move. I was like,
did he do that?
Don't care.
Why is that a power move?
Did he do that really alpha thing where did he walk in the room and then introduce himself?
Yes, like an absolute
fucking. And
we know you are, Wolverine.
He probably squeezed your hand as well.
He did really
something.
Eye contact.
Nice to meet you.
Eye contact as well. Ask me about my life.
He wasn't polite. He wasn't polite to you, was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Oh. He made me a coffee. Bastard,
dickhead. And then he handed it to you with the handle, and then you drank it.
Yeah.
I bet it was a bit hot as well, wasn't it?
Did he stick around for you to drink it?
Yeah. Signed everything I asked of him. So had a selfie.
Yeah.
Did some social media stuff. Scumbag. Scumbag. Him and Jesse Marsch, the worst.
You know, he goes around calling himself the greatest showman as well. Like
Jesse Marsch is the greatest showman. He absolutely loves it, doesn't he?
He's up there.
We said that you would do like a Phil Brown style kind of on the pitch kind of speech, didn't he?
Phil Brown's not getting mentioned here. Fucking 5 weeks into the World Cup.
He's Mr. America, isn't he? Americas. I'm sure he's tootled up there on his Harley.
I'd like to think he was driving in between the stadiums during the matches. Well, yeah, Jesse Marsch said, I'd rather be them than us. I think, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, clearly he would rather be in the next round. Yeah. But he was saying, the way we played, I was so proud of my team, blah, 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 blah. I mean,
what have you got those delicious spices?
I think he's probably...
Jesse?
Yeah, goodness
knows.
More
of a cheese curd, man, eh?
Maybe. But the thing is, though, Peter, you can say this stuff in a roundabout way and not come across as a bit of a knob.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, I'd rather be them. I'd rather be us than them, sorry.
Are we just kind of not used to like football managers being expressive?
No,
American and Canadian
it's not that.
men
it's
just generally have...
No, don't bring Canadians into it. It's not that. It's Jesse Marsch. And I actually think...
It's Jesse Marsch.
Don't be harsh. It's Jesse Marsch.
Well, okay. Let's remind ourselves what he said.
I'd rather be us than them. As good as Morocco is, I'd rather be us. Matt, we were the better team.
You know what you can do, though?
Go on.
Go be you at home.
Yeah.
You're out now. So to meet him more than halfway, he's obviously very passionate. I feel like what he was trying to say was the upside long-term for Canada is exciting and he wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But yeah, you're right. Like, as you were saying before you played the clip, there are roundabout ways of just talking about your own team and saying, I suppose, what I've just said in that there's so much potential in this team. You've seen what we do. Imagine what we can do in 4 years' time, this, that, and the other. You don't need to shit on Morocco.
Look, and it's not because, he has an American accent or he's enthusiastic. It's not to do with that.
It is a little bit of that, yeah.
But it genuinely isn't that. It's the fact that the way he got Canada playing at this tournament and what he's done, I honestly think he's done them a solid.
He's done them a service.
Service is a better word, because
thank you for your service, Jesse Marsch.
Well, no, I do think that, because I think you have to have a kind of a strong leader who, again, is experienced in the game and is willing to kind of maybe say things like, your heroes, or get them going. I actually quite like all that, and I think if that's his style, then great. It's just ever so slightly rainy. Just do
it in French. Meet them halfway.
There we are. You could have done it in French, Jesse. For those.
Unite the country.
That would have been
crying out loud.
That would have been brilliant.
Yeah, famously unite the country by speaking French in Canada. Because there's no issues.
Unite them.
That's a really good point, actually, because it's not really something I considered. But when you lose 3-0, regardless of how good a tournament it has been for Canada, that's a pasting at this level, at that stage.
As soon as Morocco scored, they just turned the heat down, knowing full well that there's not much else.
Yeah, and Morocco's quality on the ball was sensational.
But in that first half, he got them. It was right, but they needed to score in that first. You got to score when you're on top in a game like that. And I think again, the way Marsch set them up and got them going, I think he did really, really well. I genuinely do, and I give him praise for that.
Oliver Shea's chance when he rolls the ball brilliantly, takes it onto his left foot.
It's a shame it would have been such a great goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, Canada, they've made an impression on this tournament, and more than some people would have perhaps given them credit for before the start of the tournament. So genuinely, all that stuff. Yeah, it is, and they've been beaten by a proper side as well. They've not gone out to a team where you go, on another day. I understand. Even if they'd have gone in at the break 1-0 up, I still think Morocco would have had enough and they would have turned it on. But they've been beaten by a proper team who have, as I say, aren't dark horse. I mean, I suppose you can have them as dark horse, but they're not a surprise package by any stretch of the imagination.
I think you look at the dugout and Coach Moore, he speaks 5 languages. He's wearing a black T-shirt and a smoky sort of jacket.
Yeah.
That is proper prestige manager stuff.
He's going to out-French the French, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, they're an exceptional team. They're players in that 11 who perform really crucial, particularly attackers, and throw Hakimi in there as well.
Look at Bouadi in the midfield. You know, what is he?
Yeah.
I mean, how young is it?
18.
Yeah, he will be one of those midfield players for a top team that will, he'll probably win the Champions League at some point. I mean, he's that good. The way people are talking about him. He will be the centre of whether it's Manchester City or,
it feels like
Real Madrid.
It just feels Man
Build a
City
super team around him.
Exactly. He will be that player in that midfield for many years. You would have thought.
Unai scored a couple of goals yesterday. He's just a quality operator. That second finish.
Yeah.
Or the goal for the second. The finish for the second goal, pardon me, was just class. Like running full tilt on a counter-attack. Especially Talby as well. Like Talby started that move, brings it in, is that extra body. Diaz, again, is like in this fascinating space at the moment where he's just the person ticking it all along and not necessarily taking all the glory. The gutting thing was Saibari's injury.
Yes.
Because he has been so good to watch, and that is a huge, huge miss.
One question I would ask you is, has Issa Diop done enough to begin to start games for Fulham in the new season?
This is the cool thing about a World Cup, when stuff like this happens, and it's like, hold on, we haven't Issa Diop. What? It's incredible,
it doesn't start that much.
But does it kind of also make sense in that's why you signed him from West Ham?
Yeah, he's like back up, like third choice.
But there was obviously, it would have been Silva, wouldn't it? But clearly saw something there, like, I don't think they realise how good he is. We'll just take him.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And in the squad he goes. Morocco have won 4 World Cup knockout matches now. 2 in 2022, 2 in this tournament. That is as many as all the other African nations combined.
Yeah.
That's how good this side are. And lest we forget, in 4 years' time, Peter, they are co-hosts.
Yes. I mean, they'll need... Well, that's the thing, though. They do play quite a lot of teams like Madagascar and stuff in their friendlies and stuff. So you do sort of go...
Okay, what's that got to do with anything?
I'm just saying that as a host nation, that's exactly what they'll be doing. So they need to choose their friendlies a bit better.
They're not playing the cartoon film.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I'm talking about Morocco, outperforming themselves, back-to-back quarterfinals. First time an African side has done that. The stat there was there. But
the pressure will be off when they're hosting.
And you're worried that they're going to play... I forgot the but. Yeah. But if they play friendlies against Madagascar specifically,
Brunei,
then the whole thing, all the money that the King of Morocco has piled into this, academies and all this, it could come crashing down.
Damn right.
Okay. We can't take them seriously.
Come and play England at Villa Park on a wet, windy Tuesday night, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you trying? Why are you just?
Why are you running?
Why are you just sticking around playing ferret and a hippo in a grass skirt? Play some real teams. Yeah.
Stop playing the giraffes. Although very useful.
Yeah.
Was there a giraffe in Madagascar?
Very useful from set pieces.
Yes, exactly.
Can they get much power on the... Yeah, they can, actually. Have you ever seen giraffes?
You're not going to win a header against a giraffe, are you?
Well, Dan Burn might.
Yeah, that's true.
Dan Burn, you
yeah.
pick up the giraffes.
Yeah.
All of them.
How many Dan Burns would it take to get to a giraffe? How many Ben Nevises, Ben Nevi would you...
And also,
Nevite. Did you see that thing?
giraffes have 3 toes.
I
like
forget
Dan
where
Burn.
it was. Was it on the BBC where they were like, look, here's the Azteca Stadium at altitude, and then here's like the what's the building in Dubai? The
Burj Khalifa.
yeah, they've got all that. Right at the end, Dan Burn.
Yeah.
He should start. He plays at altitude. All
You
the
know,
time.
like the thing used to be like, what is that in old money?
Yeah,
Is old
it's-
money now Dan Burns?
yeah, you got to be old money if you really want old money.
Yeah.
But it depends how old you are for the money, I suppose. Right then, yes, Morocco. They're going to play France in the next round. That's a mouth-watering one. This is where the ties become mouth-watering as well.
It's a replay of the semi from 22, isn't it?
It is, yes, exactly. Morocco owe them one, don't they?
They do, yeah.
They
Bit of
do,
history there as well. Can we say that? A bit of history?
I think we can. Apparently, it's about 3 Dan Burns to get to one tall giraffe.
One tall giraffe.
I want an average
For an average
giraffe.
giraffe.
God, blimey.
Crying out loud. I thought you were Googling whether they had odd toes.
We don't want a centre-back giraffe. Give us like
Oh,
a inverted winger
toes
giraffe. How tall is an inverted winger giraffe?
Oh, dear. Talking about...
They got what? They got 2 toes on each foot. Oh, they've got 4 feet. I forgot.
Bloody Nora.
Bloody Nora. It's an even-toed ungulate.
2-footed giraffe.
2-footed.
Could play either side. Play out, play left,
Yeah.
play the right.
Got a good
Great.
touch
It's
for
like
it.
Dembele.
I
You know,
have been
giraffe.
touch for a
I have been
2-foot
watching
giraffe.
Madagascar too much.
You have. There's a tasty tie tonight, though, Peter.
A tasty tie tonight.
Brazil versus Norway.
Oh,
That's class, isn't it?
Norway have never, ever lost a game against Brazil.
Ever.
They
in
never
4
will.
weeks.
If history tells us anything,
Yeah.
it never will.
I know. Brazil might not even turn up. It is a good tie, this one. I mean, Norway, they've not disappointed.
Brilliant game. It
Yeah.
is going to be a brilliant game.
It is.
The fact that you get, what was already one of the more box office duels in the Premier League of Gabriel and Haaland, and the idea that you get them to do that for their country in a World Cup,
Yeah.
it's a bit extra.
no,
It is.
yeah.
It is, yeah.
I mean, Norway kind of in their last match, they took a little bit of time to sort of get going,
Right.
but they got there. They'll have to be at it, a bit more this time round. But I do fancy this one. It's a delicious
Yeah, I think
bit of football match.
it is a delicious bit of football match. Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, and a lot of people have said it as well, that the Carlo Ancelotti factor and some of those Brazilian players, like they're just you can kind of slice open that Brazilian midfield and blah 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 blah. But then you've got the 2 centre backs, you've got the goalkeeper who know what they're doing. But there's just a canniness about them.
Yeah.
And
Do you know the way he was talking about? I know we covered a bit on this show, but the way Ancelotti was talking about what he said to them at halftime in the Japan game.
yeah,
And obviously they come out and they win the second half, they win the game, and it was decided that they were a bit more switched on, a bit more structured, and obviously Ancelotti's not going to reveal everything, but he basically said, "Yeah, just ask them to chill out a bit."
Yeah.
Yeah, so just
But we-
chill out,
but-
have
and
a
when-
puff on this.
Have a puff on this cigar.
yeah, but we knew, we knew that's what he was going to do, and that's why he's
Yeah.
there, because we can talk about England and other countries who have enormous pressure at World Cups.
That's where the hoodoo comes from, because they just get stressed out.
Yeah, but that's Brazil.
They've never been so poor in the midfield.
I know,
that's the annoying thing.
But the funny thing, you look at the names in that midfield, but it's just not the most mobile. But I mean, Casemiro, people are like, Ancelotti's kept him on. Of course he has, because he knows that midfield is going to concede space. There are going to be gaps, and there are going to be opportunities for Casemiro to head the football into the back of the net.
Yeah.
And so he's going to play. He's not going to take him out. The surprise was he brought on Endrick, which was there was this thing in Brazil, isn't there, that Ancelotti hates him. He's never going to play him, and so
the
on and so
memes
forth.
have been sensational.
They have been very, very good, yeah.
Yeah.
And but Endrick came on in that game and made a difference. And I think that we're going to see Endrick coming on off the bench. I don't think he's going to start games. We know roughly how Ancelotti's going to play. But that calmness in the dressing room, it's almost like Brazil are in a somewhat comparable sort of space, if you like, with England. Now, clearly, Brazil have won it way more times and much more recently, but that doesn't matter to Brazil.
No. England have a better squad than Brazil.
Right, well, yeah, sure, but in terms of the history, in terms of the pressure and so on and so forth. I mean, when I remember, the first World Cup was 1990, as I've mentioned many times. I actually never thought of Brazil being a huge force. I knew they were sort of a good team, but that's because they hadn't won the World Cup for 20 years. 1970 to 1994, long time for a side like Brazil who'd won it, bearing in mind, 58, 62 and 70. They're used to winning it all the time, essentially, in that period. They've gone a long period of time. Well, they've gone the same amount of time, 02 to 26, as they had done in that period. And in between times, only one semi-final, where obviously they were hammered by Germany. To get Ancelotti in there, again, can you imagine some of those Brazilian players at half-time in the dressing room against Japan? Because despite Japan being a good side, they're not traditionally one of the big boys at the World Cup. They would have been... Well, I don't know. I can't put, words in their mouth, but it would have been understandable if someone that were absolutely bricking it. And you can see the headlines and you can see the worry and so on. And that's where a man like Ancelotti earns his stripes. And that's where we hope. And I would say already seen bits of it with Tuchel at this tournament as well. It's the same for England and DR Congo in that second hydration break. Keep anyway, we'll talk about England on the pod later today.
Well, hearing like Tuchel's speaking about the stadium they're going to be playing in later on today / in the early morning. He feels it feels a bit Ancelotti-esque. It's just kind of like, this is what we're here for.
But that's the thing.
You're fighting against the history of teams, aren't you? And when you're an outsider, you come in and you have that distance from it, and therefore can add a bit of context. I suppose the context resides there, isn't it? Because every one of those Brazilian players at halftime of the Japan game would think, this is the game that makes me a hated figure in Brazil. We're halfway through that game now. Yeah. You have if you look at Brazil's history of the times they've fallen at World Cups in significant ways, you get people in supermarkets telling you that you're the man who lost Brazil the World Cup. No one has recovered from the 7-1 defeat. They all talk about it and they carry it around with them all, everywhere. And I'm not saying it's going to be the same scale as that, but if they don't get this Norway game right,
I think this is
the way Norway play.
Yeah, I think this is another one.
This could be a game that goes in the annals of that. The bad part of their history.
Totally, yeah. I think they've got way more pressure. People often laugh at England fans and say, "Oh, you always think you're going to win the World Cup." It's not true. We think that there's a chance, and you have hope, and you go into a tournament thinking, but you know what? With the squad we've had, and it's more like the history of the football's there. You've got your Premier League, you've got some big players, blah 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 blah. It's the disappointment of going out with a whimper. That's what it is. That's where the hand wringing comes from. I don't think any England fan really goes, well, of course we're going to win the World Cup. Ridiculous. But Brazil, because of their history, it's ramped up way more because they've won 5 of the buggers, And so I think this match, you're right, Vish. I think that this is another one of those games like Japan. They're playing a very good opponent, but not a tradition. You haven't been at the World Cup since '98, Norway.
Yeah.
And so I think the pressure is going to be huge. But again, that man Ancelotti, Ancelotti said, with regard to the critics that he faced after Brazil beat Japan, he said, I've prepared for over 1,400 matches. That may not be enough to understand football, but it's certainly a good amount of experience. Only one person has prepared more matches than me, Alex Ferguson.
And Steve Bruce in it. That's what Steve Bruce used to say all the time.
Maybe that's what it is.
Show me some respect.
Maybe that's what it is.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah.
Probably Brucey, yeah. That
Must be. But having that manager who's comfortable in those moments where you are up against it, where you have 20 minutes to go and you're down or whatever, having that I think that will keep Brazil in good stead. But it's a fascinating game. It really, really is. And Erling Haaland will be relishing that. Did you see that during Argentina's win over Cape Verde, someone messaged Haaland on Snapchat saying, Messi scored, don't think you're getting that golden boot, mate. And he simply replied, true.
Yeah. I mean, it's chilling when you see a grown man on Snapchat anyway, but I pray for a leg break for
Here we go.
For
Here we go.
Just because...
Is this in this sort of...
he'll spend more...
Is this on a theatre kind of way?
No.
Or you want him to actually snap a bone?
Tib and fib, the whole thing, out for a season.
Okay.
Because he's simply so good on social media. He's simply so good at just pissing out.
Other ways for him to do that.
I want more downtime so he can piss about more. He's very good at pissing about.
The trauma...
Let's see how shitposty he can get.
the trauma of someone catastrophically breaking their legs together out for an entire year and spending time on the internet. Why is that a good combination?
Yeah. Oh, Vish, yeah.
His dad couldn't do it.
I don't know.
We're seconds away from him. I almost guarantee by the end of this tournament, it's a mid-tournament prediction.
Look what you've done to Vish. He's all over the place.
He's allergic to these opinions.
Unbelievable.
He's going to do a video of him being scared by a mirror. Because there was that AI version of Haaland being scared by his own reflection in a mirror, and I think he will do a version of that. Once they're a little bit deeper at this tournament, if indeed they go deeper in this tournament.
Well, but call me old-fashioned. I hope he doesn't break his leg.
Right.
And I hope
we have an old-fashioned challenge.
I hope we have a good
Email in.
Yeah,
Email in. Should Haaland break his leg so he can do more shit posting?
But let's hope for a good clean bout.
Exactly. Speaking of a good clean table full of food.
Oh.
Last time we spoke about Norway
Yes.
on the show, Vish was on, and he remarked that he'd never tried Norwegian brown cheese.
Oh.
And so I was late for the show today because I went to the Scandinavian kitchen down the road on Titchfield Street and bought some brown cheese, Marcus.
All right.
Would you like to taste some brown cheese?
I'm going to have to, aren't I?
Come on, let's have some brown cheese.
Let's have some brown cheese. We
Letting
had
this happen, are we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We did a live show in Oslo. Oh, I thought that was cake when you brought that out. We did a live show in Oslo a number of years ago, and what did you have? Was it pickled
Roll mops. Just your common organ roll mops.
No, some bloke in the crowd got you some sort of
Common organ roll mops.
row mops.
That's a knife, innit?
Gordon Bennett. How's he got hold of that? So yeah, anyway.
It's a really good idea, this, by the way. Well done to everyone involved.
Oh, Gordon, don't do that. For those of you listening and not watching, Pete literally threw the knife up, a very, very large kitchen knife, and caught it with the handle. If I'm honest with you, he did very, very well.
Can you describe for the audience?
Definitely put your thumb in the way when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is brown
cheese
cheese.
all
I don't really know how I'm meant to.
It's the colour of.
Do you know what?
It looks like
It does look like caramel. So this is gonna be really disappointing when we eat that.
And so presumably we garnish it with the beetroot salad that you've also bought as well. Right.
Which again looks like some sort of strawberry thing. This is annoying. My head is going. Ooh.
I mean, look at that.
Oh, dearie me. My mind is going. This is going to be a lovely sweet treat. So I'm going to be disappointed with this.
Let's get the cheese out.
By the way, while you're doing that, I do want to say
I'll
that...
just put the other notes I wrote away.
Oh, flipping Nora. But before you do, I do want to say that, Pete, you forgot the classic wedding song by Cameo that often finishes a wedding.
Oh, Candy.
I was shouting, it's Candy. I think it was Candy. Yeah.
I think if you go back onto the recording, I did say I think it's Candy.
Right.
Because you guys...
How much of this are we eating, by the way?
Too much.
Why don't we just do one slice?
Don't worry, what?
Why don't we just do one slice?
I bet it was expensive from a Scandi shop, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was, punchy.
How much? How much? Go and tell us.
I don't know, I've not seen it. I don't know whether it's...
You don't know, but you steal it, did you?
But we did get a meatballs for two for £10.
Oh, there we go. Vish, what are you doing after the show?
Yeah.
There you go.
I think we might need a palate cleanser.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, lovely bunches. So about 10...
Can I just have it on? I don't want to cracker with it. I want the pure...
If you want, but I mean, yeah.
Smells alright, actually.
About 10 years ago...
Stop pointing with the knife.
About 10 years ago,
Looks
a
like a
lorry
chocolate.
carrying this brown cheese
Right.
basically got set on fire or ignited somehow in a tunnel. And because of the sugar and because of the oil and because of the fat, it burned for 4 days. 4 days. They couldn't get rid of it.
4 days. Right, let's get this done. People want to finish this pod
done.
now. Right, are we ready?
Are they still listening? No one's still listening now, are they?
That's what I mean, yeah.
You know some of this
Right,
muck
here we
as
go.
well?
No, I can't.
Get it
I'm not
in.
going. I'm not
That's
going.
too much. Look at that.
Bloody Nora.
Lovely stuff.
Right, I'm going to
Also,
have a go.
This is my breakfast.
What's happening here?
That's all right, you know.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct taste, but it's all right.
It's not as sweet as you think it should be.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be stronger flavour-wise, personally.
I can see why people like it, though.
Yeah.
I can see why if you're from there,
Try it with the beetroot.
it's quite distinctive.
Yeah. It's lovely listening to people who eat, isn't it?
Right, we need to go. We
Out of
really
10?
do.
Out of 10, Vish?
Just hold up your digits. I'm going to say a solid 6.
Vish, do you know the dance to Candy by Word Up?
Of course
Yeah,
he
everyone
does.
does.
Oh, no, nobody does.
Everyone does.
Nobody does.
I think I could get. I wouldn't be able to do it now.
It's not even in the video. I can't even research it on there.
But if people were doing it, I could get involved. Do you know what's a big thing in a Mexican wedding is the old Billy Ray? Is it Billy Ray Cyrus? It's a line dancing one.
Right.
Is it Billy Ray Cyrus?
Right. Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah, it might be Achy Breaky Heart.
Right.
I mean, obviously that was his big one.
Right.
Gosh, I forgot.
Cotton Eye Joe?
Not Cotton Eye Joe. Not Cotton Eye Joe. No. A bit of line dancing, all that.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I say that happened at the Mexican wedding I was at, but you know when something happens and everyone
knows the dance.
and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is that
Like a
what's going
Macarena,
on?
a Spanish one.
Almost certainly. Almost certainly.
If England lose to Mexico,
Right.
can we smash up a Chipotle? Or
I'd like to. I don't like Chipotle.
Do you
not?
go.
It's just a rubbish version of whatever you like.
Should we set fire to a Oaxaca?
No.
Right.
Okay, definitely not.
Sorry, that's the brown cheese talking.
Yeah. Also, with
Brown
with
cheese was my nickname at school, actually.
Thanks for listening to the Football
Get
Ramble,
over here.
part of the Acast Create Network. Vish and I'll be back later today to preview England versus. No one's listening. Everyone's switched off. Let's be honest.
I'm a lovely feta.
Yeah. Vish and I'll be back later today to preview England versus Mexico. And tomorrow, myself, Luke, and Vish will be live on YouTube for the Ramble at 10:30.
Can't wait. Come on, England.
Thank you, Peter.
Come on, England.
Thank you, Vish.
Come on, England.
And thank you, Norwegian brown cheese. Or Norwegian wood, as the Beatles might call it.
Terrible. Terrible exit, that.